This is my technology timeline. I started it with a quote from the assignment because I thought it was really relevant to what we were writing about. But to begin my timeline, I started in the 1920s with the radio. And I included a picture of like kids listening on the radio because I thought that that was super cool. And this like really created a new way for kids to learn through listening from someone other than their teacher and allowed outside sources to come in. And then in 1925, the film strip projector was invented, and they were able to show educational films in classrooms, which was super cool. And it really like started video cassettes, DVDs, Blu-ray, all of that after that are used in the classroom, and even like YouTube now. In 1930, the overhead projector was created. I thought that was interesting. It was originally created for police ID work, but then it now allowed for an interactive classroom. And I actually like used overhead projectors in my class all the time. So it was really cool to see that that was invented so long ago and it's still used now. In 1951, there were like two things that were really invented around the same time that were cool, and that was videotapes and headphones. Videotapes offered a visual perspective to learning that was beyond what was right in front of people. And then headphones actually added the concept of language labs, which is cool because I very much remember using language labs in elementary school. Then in 1967, the first handheld calculator was invented, and some teachers were nervous that it would take away from people's math skills, but it ended up really, really helping. And I mean, I grew up in a world where I wouldn't even know what it was like without a handheld calculator. And then in 1972, Scantrons really became popular. I think they were invented earlier, but like Scantron made them easier to grade, and allowed educators to be more quick and efficient with testing. And then the first personal computers were invented from 1974 to 1977, and computers added a new component to education. Classrooms are so centralized around computers now. I'm not sure what we would even do without them. They were there from the beginning of my education, and I'm using one literally right now. And then in 1990, interactive whiteboards were created. They allowed teachers to integrate a chalkboard with like computers and overheads, and it really like brought everything together and helped students get more involved with the classroom instead of just the teacher writing on it. And then we kind of go into my first memories of timeline with technology. In 2003, I was like 4 or 5. That's probably the first recollection I have of a computer, although I didn't really use it. In 2004, I remember when the Motorola Razr phone came out. My mom had one, and I thought it was so cool, and I would always like click the internet on it, even though it was really hard to access the internet on those kinds of phones. In 2008, or really all my elementary school years, we'd take visits to computer labs and use headphones and technology and get to learn technology. And then this is another one that's not on my personal one, but in 2010, iPads were created, and now so many schools use iPads to connect their kids to technology. In 2012, I got an iPhone, and that was like the first smartphone I ever had, and it really started me on social media and the internet and kind of making my own online footprint, which was really cool. In 2014, I got my own laptop for the first time, and my mom finally let me have a Facebook, even though it wasn't really that popular anymore. And then in 2016, really like in high school, is when my school started using getting carts full of Chromebooks for everybody to use in class, which was like really nice because everybody had a computer. So yeah, that was my technology timeline.